feeling a little bit weird tonight or this afternoon because I'm taking antibiotics and they're just kind of kicking in. So I'm a little bit like foggy-headed. So I'll do my best. But I was thinking after getting back from Rhode Island that we often talk about waking up or self-realization or something like that, but that those are distant things, right? Those are things we have no control over, really. And we can't really set those things as a goal, right? We can just do our best walking day by day. As it says in the Joey, get down off the chariot and walk in your bare feet. And that's really the best we can do. And I was thinking today that there's nothing more important to me than tasting sweet to the Lord. That there's this sense of goodness and sweetness that's been driving me since I was little. I can't even remember back since when. But I could put it in many different ways. You know, being right with myself, but really it's being sweet. You know, not always being nice, but showing up with sweet taste, showing up, following goodness, offering that sweet taste to the Lord. There is nothing more important to me than that. Not self-realization, not having any special position, not anything. Nothing is more important to me than that. And nothing has ever been more important to me than that. I don't know why it's not occurred to me to put it that way until this morning. But it actually is something that can reduce a lot of fear that we have. If you have a sense of what I'm talking about, that we each have essential sweetness, we have essential goodness. And sometimes we lose contact with that. And sometimes we follow it and sometimes we don't. Sometimes it speaks to us and we listen and we follow. Sometimes it speaks to us and we ignore. Sometimes we ignore so much that we can't hear it speaking to us. But it's not just a speech, it's a whole feeling. You know, it's like when you sink into the right groove. And then when if that's really your goal, to every day and every minute of every day, be offering a sweet taste to the Lord. If that's really your goal, then you don't have to worry about anything else. Okay? As long as you're doing that, it doesn't matter if you fail or succeed at something else. It doesn't matter if someone likes you or doesn't like you. I mean, you may have momentary reactions to those things, and of course, it's not like we're trying to go through life as an automaton. Someone we like doesn't like us, it's like, oh. But nothing like that is going to send us into a tailspin. If our real goal is to offer a sweet taste to the Lord, and we keep trying to do that every minute of every day. Understanding that we won't always be able to do that, but we always try to do that. And I think I've been trying to do that since I became self-aware. I would never have put it that way back then, ever. But I would have said, there's something I'm following. Like even when I was a little kid, I would have said, there's something I'm following. And it was that feeling of rightness, not being right, not doing right, of just this sort of more primordial kind of rightness with myself. That feeling of being on the right path. You know when you're in the woods taking a hike and you kind of get semi-lost? You're not quite sure where you are. You can't really remember what the last turn was or if you'd been there before. Right? And then after kind of going around for half an hour, you find the right path and it's like, okay, now I know I'm on the right path. It has that same feeling. Whatever that is for you. But it's really, it's not connected to our reason. It's not connected to intellect. It's not unconnected from reason and intellect, but it's not decided by reason and intellect. It's decided by something more primordial. It's that conversation that you're having with God inside. That's what it's decided by. Of course, I would have never said God back then. And no one has to say that. We can have whatever word we want for it. And I think that has been my compass, and it has been my courage. The absolute necessity for me, I've never been able to not follow that for more than a step in the wrong direction. I step in the wrong direction, like, ooh! No, that doesn't feel right. There are maybe 2 steps in the wrong direction, but I don't get very far. And that has been my courage. The feeling of wrongness, to go in the wrong direction, outside, to be offering something less than that goodness, has caused me to have courage. Because you have to have courage to follow that no matter what. Because it doesn't always jibe with ordinary reasons about things. I feel anyone who can sense this feeling of inner goodness or sweetness or rightness, it really comes from here, is very, very lucky. And when you follow that, you just cannot go wrong, no matter what anybody thinks of you. We all have that. You could call it inner divination. Sada said calls it inner divination, right? Yeah, it's been called basic goodness, but it is a direction. It sets a direction. With every footstep, it sets a direction. It tells you when to wait and when to go, and it tells you who to associate with and who to not associate with. And it tells you everything, what to eat, what not to eat. Well, maybe I don't always listen to it. That's, of course, my Achilles heel. So it allows you to take risks. Right. And it also has allowed me to see that in others also. It's not just something I've seen in myself, but I see it in others also. So this is our theme this year, is courage. And it occurred to me when I was thinking today that really that offering that and feeling that one must offer that, one must follow that. I've always just felt it's not my choice. I must. Otherwise, I just feel out of sorts with myself in a very basic way. And so I think there's a direct line between being able to feel, hear, sense, get in contact with that sweetness, that goodness, that voice, however you encounter it, and having courage. And having courage. It sort of forces you to have courage. Mm-hmm. Because once you are in contact with it enough, it can't really be ignored. It also trains you to have courage. So in the moments when you're most afraid to follow it, if you follow it, you gain courage. Terror comes, but then after following, you have more courage, you have more confidence. So it both requires courage and it schools you in courage. There's nothing more important than that, I think, at least in my life. Because I don't know where it's leading me. It's all improvisation. It's not like there's one goal and we're all headed there and it all looks the same for all of us. Right? It's all improvisation. So there's really no point in having these very long-term goals about anything, really. About anything. as long as you're following that